Dr. Rebecca Walsh stared at the cascading data streams on her monitor, her coffee growing cold in her trembling hand. For 3 weeks, the signal had pulsed through the Kepler array, a rhythmic pattern that defied natural explanation. But it wasn't until tonight that the translation algorithms finally cracked its meaning. And what they revealed made her blood run cold. "This can't be right," she whispered, running the sequence again. The message was clear, written in a mathematical language that transcended species. Warning. Harvest world designated. Sentient species detected. Evacuation impossible. Accept termination protocols. The signal wasn't a greeting. It was a death sentence, meant for the Zelthani, an aquatic civilization on Kepler 442b, located 43 light-years from Earth. Humanity had been monitoring their radio emissions for 6 years, watching a species just beginning to reach for the stars, much like Earth in the 1950s. Rebecca grabbed her phone and called Commander James Mitchell at the Joint Space Operations Center. Within an hour, every major power on Earth had convened an emergency session. The debate was fierce and immediate. "It's not our fight," argued the Chinese delegation. "We've barely colonized Mars. These harvesters are clearly a Kardashev Type II civilization at minimum." 43 light-years, the Russian representative added. "Even with our fastest probes, we couldn't reach them in time. The message says harvest begins in their local year, roughly 18 Earth months." Rebecca stood before the assembly, her voice steady despite her fear. "We've spent centuries asking if we're alone in the universe. Now we know we're not, and we're about to watch the first alien civilization we've ever discovered get exterminated. What does that say about humanity if we do nothing?" "It says we're realistic," someone shouted from the back. "It says we're cowards," countered Admiral Patricia Hernandez, the head of the newly formed Earth Defense Fleet. "We have the quantum entanglement communicator. Experimental, yes, but functional. We can warn them. We can share our weapons technology, our tactics. We can give them a fighting chance." The vote was narrow, but humanity decided, they would answer a call that was never meant for them. The quantum message reached Kepler 442b instantaneously. The Zelthani response came back within hours, their shock evident even through the translation matrices. They called themselves the Tide Singers, and they had never imagined another species might exist, let alone offer help. What followed was the most intense period of scientific cooperation in human history. Humanity had one advantage: they were a species that had perfected the art of killing each other for millennia. While the Tide Singers had developed beautiful technology for exploration and harmony with their ocean world, humans had nuclear weapons, railguns, directed energy weapons, and centuries of tactical warfare doctrine. Dr. Marcus Thompson, formerly of MIT, led a team that taught the Tide Singers about defensive positions, guerrilla tactics, and the strategic use of their planet's massive ocean trenches. Rebecca's team transmitted everything humanity knew about materials science, helping them harden their cities against orbital bombardment. But everyone knew it wouldn't be enough. When the Harvester fleet arrived in Zelthani space, their ships blotted out the stars, massive cathedral-sized vessels that had exterminated dozens of species across the galaxy. The first battle lasted 6 hours. The Tide Singers, following human tactical advice, lured the Harvesters into their deepest ocean trenches where the pressure was immense. They used human-designed fusion mines and electromagnetic pulse weapons. Against all odds, they destroyed 3 Harvester ships. The victory was short-lived. The Harvesters adapted, beginning planetary bombardment from orbit. Cities vaporized. Millions died in the first wave. On Earth, people watched the transmitted footage with tears streaming down their faces. Governments scrambled. And then, impossibly, the Unity Initiative launched. "We're going," Admiral Hernandez announced. "All of us." It was insane. Earth's entire defense fleet, all 27 ships equipped with experimental faster-than-light drives that might kill their crews, prepared to jump across 43 light-years of space. Not for resources. Not for territory. For people they'd never met, on a world they'd never see. They'll call us fools, President Williams said during the final briefing. They'll call us human, Hernandez replied. The human fleet emerged from FTL in Zelthani space like angels of vengeance. They were outgunned, outmatched, and utterly insane by any reasonable military doctrine. So they did what humans do best, they improvised. Captain Ryan Foster's ship, the Indomitable, rammed directly into a Harvester flagship, his crew evacuating in pods seconds before impact. The resulting explosion took out 4 enemy vessels. Dr. Rebecca Walsh, who had insisted on joining the fleet, used her knowledge of the Harvester communication protocols to inject a virus into their network, a trick she'd learned from studying Earth's own cyber warfare history. The battle raged for 3 days. Humans and Tide Singers fought side by side, sharing tactics in real time. The Harvesters, who had exterminated 47 civilizations, had never encountered anything like humanity's reckless courage or the Tide Singers' newfound ferocity. When the last Harvester ship jumped away in retreat, both species were battered, bloodied, but alive. 5 years later, Rebecca stood on the beach of New Harmony, a joint human Zelthani colony established on Kepler 442b's largest island. Behind her, human children played in the waves alongside young Tide Singers, both species learning each other's languages, cultures, and dreams. The Galactic Council, who had been too afraid to challenge the Harvesters, now sent delegations to study this impossible alliance. How had a species barely capable of interstellar travel defeated an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia? Rebecca smiled, watching her daughter splash in the alien ocean. The answer was simple, really. The signal wasn't for humans. But humanity had answered anyway. Because that's what humans do. They show up. They fight for those who can't fight alone. They answer calls that aren't meant for them. They are, for better or worse, utterly and magnificently human. And the galaxy would never be the same.